and I'm narrating it, and here we are. The show is happening. Welcome to Film Juice, everyone. That's how this is happening. You look so... You've been doing a lot of the thinking poses today.
It's keeping me relaxed.
Is something keeping you on edge?
Yeah.
Oh!
Everything.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just very comfortable like this right now. I know it doesn't look the best in my little window here that I can see, but I don't care. You guys will be fine. You can just look at Joe. That's all they want anyways.
No. I think that is not true, and also...
Jesus Christ, you pull that shit out? Now everybody just turned this off. That's watching it.
Because of the kombucha?
Because of the kombucha.
I bet you can't remember what flavor it is.
Fucking...
it's the same as 2 weeks ago.
Probably something like strawberry and jazz.
Ooh, you're close, kind of, not really, but you're kind of.
Is it pomegranate and Timothy Chalamet's sweat?
I do want to try that. That'd be a funny flavor. But this is close. This is raspberry lemon ginger.
Raspberry lemon ginger.
3 flavors this time. Not just 2. Gotta have 3.
I feel like all you can taste is the raspberry.
No.
You can taste the ginger?
I can taste the raspberry and the lemon. The ginger is a little...
See, what did I tell you? What did I tell you weeks ago? That they always add just something ginger, fucking cumin, or goddamn,
Turmeric.
I don't know. Fucking
Turmeric.
Nutella, arsenic, asbestos. You know, something like, ooh, it's like, to make it sound more like holistic.
Pesticide.
Pesticides, yeah, you know.
Cyanide. Bleach. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to hide it. They're just openly telling us what they're poisoning us with.
And we just gulp it down.
It's like that fucking... Oh, it's like that, what's that guy's name? Remember that Christmas movie we watched? With that one comedian from Schitt's Creek. And,
Dan Levy?
Dan Levy, and there's that one really funny joke that he has when he's in the supermarket looking at the cheese puffs and he's reading all this terrible shit in them, and then he throws them in his cart.
Classic. What a topical commentary on our society.
It's a good
That's
gag.
Great.
It's a good gag.
Great.
You fucking laughed your ass off at it. Don't even. I remember talking about it and you thought
I
it was
don't
hilarious.
know. Well, Dan Levy's a funny guy.
Yeah.
So.
Dead inside.
It's hot in here. I'm sorry.
Hey everyone. We're having a grand old time. We're having a grand old time.
Yep.
Well, you know, I'm surprised you're not used to it, Mr. Sound of the Islands.
Music of the Islands.
Music of the Islands.
There's no sound on the islands. It's all music. It's all rhythm.
Yeah, it's all rhythm. It's all Vista. In Vista Del Mar, it's all the same, baby.
I watched that movie when I was down in Florida.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Feel it
for my parents to see it.
What'd they think?
And they liked it. They thought it was pretty funny. It is. I'll tell you what. We didn't talk enough when we did that movie. We didn't talk enough about Damon Wayans Jr. because he is so
Yeah.
You know, you remember him?
No, yeah.
Like the spy.
Yeah.
He is so fucking funny in that movie.
Is.
His character's name is Darnie Bunkle, and he's incredible. Like rewatching it, he was maybe my favorite part.
Really, it was really good. I think that movie is one of those comedies that gets better the longer. I think I said that too. I feel like it.
Well, there's a lot of jokes in there,
Yeah, it's a lot to absorb.
Yeah.
I feel like did Zoe watch it?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I'm glad everyone got to see it. I'm curious. I feel like that's like a perfect, that it's like almost self-aware at that point when you're like in like an area like that and you're watching
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like,
well, it seriously was, saw some Barb and Star types out there for sure.
Love it. Love it. We all know a Barb and Star, I feel like. I feel like in everyone's family there's at least one Barb or Star. Maybe both.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe both. I'd say I probably have both. Anyhow. But yes, welcome back to Film Juice. We actually took 2 weeks off. Just getting a little reset. And yeah, you were in the Floridas, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. Living it up in Vista Del Mar, as we were just talking. And yeah, I don't know why I wasn't there, but it's fine. There's always
because you weren't invited.
Oh.
That probably explains it.
This bitch goes to Florida twice, and he hits me with this. He hits me with...
What are you gonna do?
What? You know what? This is what it is. Just to fill everyone in, over the break, not only did I turn 23, Andrew turned 24. Now here's the fucking key to the puzzle. Here's the fucking pieces here. There's a week span where an exact week span. It's honestly fucking magical. Is an exact week where we are the same age. Now, some people call it the Bermuda Triangle. I think it just happens to be.
Wait, they call that. What are you talking? Wait, what? They call what the Bermuda Triangle? What?
Like this anomaly, or they call it like Mercury in retrograde, right? But it's just really this span of time that me and Andrew are the same age.
Okay, got
this
it.
Week.
Yeah.
So anyhow, this phenomenon.
Look up when Amelia Earhart disappeared. See if it was during that week.
If it was during that week, I think you would change everything. I think everything would change for you. I really do. I feel like your whole way of thinking would be changed. I mean, mine would too, probably. Now I kind of want to check.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up while I'm explaining the phenomenon.
I feel like it. I'm gonna guess when Amelia Earhart took off. I feel like that's kind of a fall trip. Going around the world? That seems like a fall trip.
Oh, never mind. Oh, I got so excited. I got my months mixed up. So, she disappeared July 2nd, but I thought for a second that it said April 2nd, and I was gonna lose my shit, man.
That's weird.
You
just wanted to believe so bad that you became dyslexic?
It's Mercury in retrograde, baby. It's... So anyway, we during that week, we're on the same playing field. It's the 1 week where I'm the same age as Andrew, and everything just feels different. It just feels we were talking on the phone, and it felt like I was like almost the wise one in the group. It was fucking weird. So it was almost I was teaching Andrew something,
You are constantly teaching me. In fact, I'm learning a lot right now.
I'm turning into Dan Aykroyd the older I get. But
what does that mean?
Like, Dan Aykroyd believes in ghosts and is crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's self-explanatory.
Gotcha.
Anyhow, I'm losing my momentum. Oh, so now he is 24, and immediately it's shifted. He's Mr. Andrew Canada. Oh, Mr. Andrew Canada, you weren't invited. We're on a different level now. We're on this different level. If we were the same age that week he went to Florida, which we were, but if he left, like when it was my birthday, I bet you I would have gotten a call saying, this is crazy, Joe, but like, you should come with. And that would have been pretty wild. Anyways.
It would have.
I don't. It's like a.
Yeah, this is my Jack Bauer year from the hit Fox television series 24.
What does that even mean?
Jack Bauer from the hit Fox television series 24.
The number 24.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's my Jack Bauer year. So everybody calls 23 the Jordan year, which that sounds pretentious to me.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I know 22 is the Taylor Swift year.
Douchey. My God, that's so stupid.
Didn't I don't know. I just remember
that song in particular. I absolutely despise.
I know. I hate it too, dude. 22 was
Should have stopped at Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. I can't deny that. Anyhow, as we sip our beverages, welcome to Film Juice. It's been a 2-week period, 3 weeks almost for you guys. But yeah, you know what's also funny? I just realized the last time we recorded this show, I feel like I looked completely different. And now it's like, it really like, that 1 week, that week, that's all it took. That week, that Mercury in retrograde week, that's all it took for everything to change. So anyway, that's where we're at. So.
Joe. Oh, Joe.
I know. I'm just. I don't even know what to say at this point.
Sure.
What?
I look so different. You look exactly the same.
Well.
But you're just feeling different on the inside,
know what?
which is a good thing.
That is a good thing. It's just people say birthdays don't matter, you don't change, nothing happens. I disagree.
Okay.
Actually, but I kind of do agree on some level.
Seem to coincide.
Yeah, just a coincidence, some would say.
Yeah.
But do coincidences exist?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
John. So, let's get into the show today.
Let's get to movie news.
Let's get some movie news. If this is your first time watching the show, this is a great one to start. This is the 50th episode.
Oh wow.
50. We've turned 50. We're halfway to 100. We're getting there. We'll get there one day. We'll get to 100 and then we'll it'll be 100 episodes.
That's right. That is an accurate statement.
So we'll probably do something crazy for that. Don't know what. Maybe we'll get a cannon and I don't know. Maybe we'll shoot ourselves out of cannons or something.
No.
Have you ever? You know what we could do? Oh, Andrew, now I know what we got to do, and I'm gonna will it into existence right now, and then you can't say no. We gotta go skydiving.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do that, and when we get to 100, that would be crazy if we went skydiving.
And then what? We just say, "Hey, we went skydiving."
I would show the video of us going skydiving.
So there would be a video.
So the audio listeners would just hear us screaming. And wind the audio listeners. Or, we could maybe we could narrate what's happening during the video clip. It'd be a real gag.
I think you gotta let it speak for itself.
Fair enough. Anyway, anyhow, we'll see if we remember that when we get to 100 episodes. But anyhow, let's get into movie news. So the first thing we got, which is the oldest bit of movie news, but we got to talk about it. The Suicide Squad trailer, the James Gunn. I mean, is it a reboot? It's not a re. It's not a. Is it like a soft reboot? Is it, or is it just a sequel?
You know what? I don't know if that's what it is technically, but I think that that's a good term for it.
Yeah, because it has some of the same characters.
Yeah, Margot Robbie's still Harley Quinn and stuff. It obviously takes place in the same universe still. Yeah. But we didn't really learn anything from this trailer.
No.
So, you know, we still don't really know what the movie is about. We just know, you know, the Suicide Squad is at it again. We got to see some of the new characters, though, in action a little bit.
Yeah, which is cool.
Not a whole lot. We mainly got to see, I guess, the bigger names, right? John Cena, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
I think they also they definitely highlighted John Cena's character.
Mm-hmm.
What is his name? Patriot or something? It's something. Shit. I can't remember.
You had it. I think it was Patriot.
It's like Justice Giver or something like that.
It's so good. Hold on, now I gotta look it up.
They definitely highlighted him in this trailer, I think, because obviously he's gonna get a show on HBO Max.
Oh, you think so?
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that.
So
Peacemaker.
That's
so ironic and funny.
Yeah, but we just didn't. So it's really. I don't think anyone can say at this point, like, okay, this is the movie that's going to turn it around. Like, they fixed the qualms from the last one that everybody had. They addressed that and solved that. You know, there's a lot of potential, obviously, with James Gunn being the director.
Yes.
But just based on the lack of really anything that they showed in the trailer, anything of like real substance, I'm a little worried about it.
Really?
But I think it'll definitely have some fun parts. And I don't think that I was a little worried that they maybe showed them all in the trailer, but I don't think that's going to happen just because, you know, with James Gunn, it's going to be loaded with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it'll land. I mean, just because of James Gunn, because it's in his hands. I don't think there's a lot of stuff that's gonna slip through the cracks, but you never know. I mean, it is a DC movie, so we gotta wait and see what happens. But as a comic book fan, I will say one thing we see in the trailer. Is Starro, which, for anybody who doesn't know, it's this big starfish-looking thing. It's giant. It's like several stories tall.
Yeah.
And it's from outer space. And was first featured in the very first appearance of the Justice League. In Brave and the Bold number, I don't know, 46 or something, I want to say, but
yeah.
And it's kind of an obscure. It's a very obscure villain. It's kind of been the butt of some jokes in the past. Mm-hmm. But it has its place in DC history just because it was the very first one that the Justice League went up against. It's such a weird villain. I never thought that it would actually show up in a movie, but
I think it's pretty sick. I think it's pretty sick that it is. Yeah, that's like the coolest thing that they show in the trailer for sure. That they're like going that like route. I think that's from what the trailer shows, that's the way to go. I also want to keep in mind that like the tagline for this movie is that James Gunn like put out is like to not get too attached to any of the characters.
Ooh.
Which makes me feel like that.
We don't even know any of them.
No, I know.
Margot Robbie, and she's definitely safe.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying is like I feel like it's I hope what they're doing is they're actually gonna embrace the Suicide Squad idea, which is like they really do kill off quite a few in the comics. Well, I mean, they'll have a group. What they'll do is they'll usually have a group for like a little bit, and then they'll but they usually do always have like key players that are always around. Like Harley Quinn is almost always in it. Deadshot is usually always in it, but now he's not. So, I'm really curious how they're gonna, like you said, I'm really curious how they're gonna do that transition. I do want to say, I'm not worried necessarily, but I'm also not like excited. I'm just like we're just gonna have to see. It's really one of those movies. But I do want to make the point. Suicide Squad, the original Suicide Squad, had one of the best trailers of all time.
Yep, that's true.
It had one of the best.
Really liked that trailer, and it was good. It was good.
It was really good. It's still, no matter what you say about that movie, you can't deny that that's one of the best trailers like in recent memory. And I still think that trailer like is still pretty damn entertaining. And I think that what they were going for with this trailer was, I think James Gunn is trying to not show too much. I think, and I guess I just have this kind of trust with James Gunn, which I shouldn't, but I do have this trust with James Gunn that he's gonna, well, because like who fucking knows, like how,
right? Oh, I understand. What?
Like,
I think that's got more to do with like just the whole DC universe in general. You know, that's not that, because that's where I'm coming from. Is that I'm not really worried about James Gunn. I'm worried about Warner Brothers. And
that's true. Yeah. You're because like you can tell James Gunn like is manning this movie with like comic book lore in mind, and like I don't know. I think you can see his you can definitely see his influence, which is great. And I think the lines that they show in the trailer are very James Gunn-esque. I also like that, like you said, they very much highlighted John Cena's character, and he had some of the best lines in the I mean, he has some great. His character is definitely going to be a favorite. I can already tell. He's just it's pretty funny from everything we've seen so far, for sure. I mean, that line about him on the beach sucking dicks for America, that's like the best. That's like one of the best. He's like, if it's for America, suck all of those dicks or something like that, he said. That's fucking funny. It's like amazing. He just So I really like the irony of that character and just everything that character is. Like, that's very funny. This is the first time I've heard of this character too. So that's like I really like that they're introducing these lesser known characters. I'm gonna call it right now. Pete Davidson's character is gonna die early on for sure. I have this feeling. I have this feeling he's not gonna be in it very long. I did not saying I like just like Pete Davidson. To the contrary, I just have this vibe that Pete Davidson's character is gonna be one to go. I just don't. I
think that is probably a really good call.
Yeah, he just seems like a one-off. I just don't think he's gonna be which is fine. It's not a bad thing to know that. I just think that he's gonna be one of the ones to go. I think the Shark might go as well, but I don't know. The Shark is probably gonna stay because from the trailer, people already love the Shark. He's great though. I like the design they went with him. Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, one more thing with how they open this trailer, they did reel me in with the camera movements that they show in the trailer. They give brief glimpses of some of the action and like dialogue scenes, and they are using the camera movements that they are using are really cool, and I hope that's throughout the movie because I love that shit. Like, just making it more engaging and like more visual. That'll be really cool if they do that. So we'll see how much of that is actually in the movie. But there's this car scene where they have this like pan going on, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was so like cool to do it like that. And yeah, the action scenes that they did show glimpses of looked awesome. I think it's gonna be super. I think Harley Quinn's gonna steal the show again. With those, like, in particular visually, like the glimpse that they showed of like the prison breakout scene, like there was like a little glimpse of it. It looked fucking like, you know, super Birds of Prey action-esque, where it was like super colorful and like, so that'll be. And I mean, we reviewed Birds of Prey, and that movie had its issues, but like the action in that movie was fucking cool.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I'm excited to see where they go with this movie. And yeah, it'll be out soon, this summer. So we'll see what's going on with it. Right? It is this summer, I believe. I guess I'll fact check that. But I'm pretty sure it's this summer on HBO. Yep, August 6th. Yep, so we'll see that soon. Gonna be very interesting. Oh, and obviously Viola Davis is played by
Well, she's playing Amanda Waller.
I mean,
yeah.
Jesus, yeah, I mixed. Yes. She's playing Viola Davis. No, she's playing Amanda Waller. But I'm glad they got her back, because she's also amazing, obviously.
Yeah. So that's such a great character.
Oh yeah.
And
yep.
She plays it pretty well.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. It's one of those, we gotta wait to see. Anything with DC, I think these days is you gotta wait and see, right?
Yeah, it's impossible to make a call one way or another, really.
Yeah.
But I would say if you were to, it would likely lean towards disappointment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but you know, we all want to believe, and hopefully. Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel about the Mortal Kombat movie. It's like, oh, I want it to be so good. I want that movie to fucking kick ass.
I think it is. I feel like it's going to be pretty good.
Like, I want it to kick ass. Awful. I really want.
Because I'll tell you what, I saw some of the trailer again today, and you and I were talking about not making some like lines from the video games feel like they were forced into the movie if they got to put like people's catchphrases and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's get over here. Who says that? Sub-Zero or
no
Scorpion?
Scorpion.
So I just happened to see the part of the trailer today where he says that, and myself not being familiar with the video games and not knowing that that's his catchphrase, I didn't even like catch on to that. I was like, that doesn't sound forced in at all.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it literally sounds like the exact same, and maybe that's just what threw me off. Just like it sounded more of a soundboard than it did like than it did like in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping I'm fine. This is what we talked about too, is no matter what happens, if the worst part of the movie is these little 2 seconds of dialogue, that's not going to ruin the movie.
Sure. Well, I think that's if you forgive it, or if those lines get tossed out during action sequences, I think it'll be pretty easy to forgive.
Yeah. If the story itself and the plot is bad, that's what's gonna, and that dialogue.
And if there's a lot of exactly. If there's just a lot of expositional dialogue, like they kind of set up that blonde woman in the trailer. Yeah. To essentially be an exposition machine. Yeah. Which hopefully does not happen, but it's it's tough with these video game movies, I think, because
there's so much.
You have to. There is a lot of source material, but there's also not a ton story-wise typically. And I know, like, because it's all kind of player-based, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know there's lore and things like that, but like look at Warcraft, even that movie, you know, it's there. You know, there's a history to like that game. That game has like stories within it and stuff like that, but there's no really overarching story, you know, that you would.
There's an overarching story to Warcraft. There's a huge overarching story to Warcraft. In that particular movie, maybe not, but like that world is like super lived in and super like
yeah,
expanded.
but it's almost
like there's so much there.
Yeah, but that's almost the issue, I think, to make it into a movie.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying, like, overarching story-wise, I feel like there is... In that particular movie, I would say... Okay, yeah. If we're talking about the movie, yeah, there's not really a whole overarching story. They don't really do a good job making an overarching story in that movie in particular. But, like, I thought you were talking about, like, lore-wise just of Warcraft, which has a huge overarching...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, yeah, there's all this lore and stuff, but, like, if you're gonna make it into a movie, what do you really latch onto from all of that? Because
yeah, yep, that's fair.
And with Mortal Kombat, especially, I mean, that's like, it's a fighting game, so
it is pretty hard because if I'm being honest, I've never gotten too attached to the stories of the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
games.
it's not that it's an afterthought when you make those games or anything,
yeah.
but
yeah,
but it's oh man, I can't articulate this right now. I'm angry, but but so for any video game movie adaptation, you have to form some kind of story. So there has to be some kind of excuse for all the cool stuff you like from the games to happen.
Yeah.
And that can be a tough thing to do, and I think a lot of
really
movies handle it wrong, and a lot of them put almost too much focus on that.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily needed.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the last good video game thing that I've seen adapted is the Witcher series.
Right.
But that's also from a book. So it's from a book series, so it's even different. So like the games are based off of the book series, and the show is also based off the book series, but like there are game elements, so it's interesting. So that's also an exception to that rule. And yeah, if they try to make that thing into a movie, I think it would have done terribly because there's so much there. There's just too much there.
Let me try and say it like this.
Yeah.
So, like Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
That was a solid video game movie.
Yeah.
The gameplay in that, because the gameplay of that game is the story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas in something like Mortal Kombat, the gameplay is not the story. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes like you fight someone for a certain reason, but
but that's but you're getting all that just in cutscenes though. Like that's not really.
Yep, I got you.
I mean, yeah, the gameplay is not.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no,
the story. It's
yes.
Like you're never, as a player, doing a lot that affects the story. The stories in that game is all laid out.
You're on the rails. Yeah. Yep, I got you.
And you're just like seeing who you fight and stuff.
It's like those arcade shooter games, like the on the rail shooters where you're just like pointing at the screen and shooting whatever comes up on the screen. Like it's kind of like that where you're you're just kind of being propelled through it. While
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yep. I got you. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it's good. I think at the very least the fight scenes are going to be really fucking cool.
Well, they look sick in the trailer.
I know. They look so cool. I also think the casting for the characters is pretty good from what I've seen. So we'll see what happens. But we got another trailer. Speaking of video game adaptations, which this isn't a video game adaptation, but it looks video game-esque. The Space Jam trailer came out. Wow. It's pretty crazy. I mean, they showed a lot, but they didn't show a lot. Like they showed a lot of visual stuff of kind of where the story's gonna go a little bit, but yeah, it's not what I expected. I I guess the first thing to talk about is it seems like they might be getting away from the original like movie.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's not confirmed. Maybe they'll explain it in the movie, but like the Toons are on their own planet now.
Whereas before, just
yeah.
so everybody knows, obviously they lived at the center of the Earth.
And in my canon, they still do.
Yeah, agreed.
But I mean, and Bill Murray's still like probably shooting some hoops down there. That's probably where he's been. But
he's around, Joe.
I don't see him, so it must not.
He was just in that freaking Rashida Jones movie on Apple Plus, which was good.
I haven't seen it. I haven't even seen Cherry on Apple Plus yet. The Tom Holland movie.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers movie. Anyway, yeah, they're on a different planet now. It looks like LeBron James's kid gets sucked in to this digital world. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but he gets sucked into this like universe. And LeBron James follows him, and it looks like it's LeBron James trying to find his son throughout the movie. And it looks like his son doesn't want to play basketball, and LeBron James wants him to like play basketball. It looks like a very like that plot line is a very like by the numbers plot line, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just saying like it seems like that's the simple like plot line that they're gonna follow with that. And then he gets transported to this Toon world, and he becomes 2D, like he becomes animated. So that's another difference as well, which is fine, that's a stylistic choice, but he's 2D now, and then we don't know how they get to this point, but eventually they get to this point where LeBron James is LeBron James and not live action.
And the Looney Tunes, they go out somehow.
And they're 3D. So they change animation style, which I think is cool. And then there's all these other pop culture things that just come in, and it becomes like a Ready Player One scenario, which I think is it's a valid comparison. It's very similar.
Yeah, I think you're right. The thing that we don't really get to see a lot of is
basketball.
Basketball, yes. The team that they're going to be playing, because it's not the Monstars. You see, the only one I got a good look at was that it looks like there's a guy made of water.
Yeah.
On the team that they're playing, so.
It's interesting. You know what it kind of reminds me of, and you made this reference before we even saw the trailer, and I think you kind of hit it on the head when we were talking about it then. You were talking about how it seems like there's a lot of Japanese culture references, right? And there's that style that they're going for with the effects. And honestly, from this trailer, I couldn't agree more that I'm seeing so much, and maybe I'm going to get corrected for this or whatever, but from my personal experience with like anime that I've seen, I'm getting such like Dragon Ball Z like story vibes, like it seems like I guess scale wise is the way to put it. So like this almost seems like this is, while the first movie was like a battle for that planet, like a basketball game for the planet. Now it seems...
it was just for the freedom of the Looney Tunes. And
sure, but it was like, it took place it was just the scale of the planet. Now we have expanded to the scale of the universe. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it might be, and I could be wrong, but it seems like it might be this basketball game for the universe. And it's going to be like different planets like competing. I don't think it's going to be just one team. I think it's going to be a bunch of teams, like a playoff scenario.
This is like a tournament, and LeBron has to win the tournament to get his son back.
Yeah, that's what
I can get behind that.
That's what it seems.
I mean, that would have been a pretty solid idea. That's not what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me. But I could be completely wrong. That's what makes sense to me when seeing all of this shit all these crazy worlds colliding. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting. I think I guess the only other thing visually, I think it looks good. The only two things I'll say on it different is I think it's kind of a weird choice that they made LeBron 2D. I just don't know why they necessarily had to do that. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, well,
it's not the end of the world. It's just a little, it's an interesting
it's like,
choice.
I don't know. I feel like, why not?
Yeah.
Because it is different. Like, I think the only reason that's really bothering people is because it didn't happen with Michael Jordan in the first one. But as you said, we're on a whole nother planet now, so...
Yeah, yep.
If that's the way you want to do it, that makes sense. Like, it reminds me of, I don't know if this is a reference that everybody will recall, but episode of the Fairly Odd Parents where they're going through the channels and stuff. They do that, and every time they flip through a different channel, they become that animation style.
Yeah,
that's fair. There's a scientific precedent there.
Yeah, that's fair. Page Master too.
Well,
that's a little different, but yeah.
But I assume that if LeBron went to a different planet, then he would be in that style or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Switch around. So
that makes sense. I dig that. I mean, we're gonna see what happens. I think effect wise, I also just want to say effect wise, I think it looks pretty impressive. I do like the effects. I think it looks good. So I guess the only thing that I think is strange, and we'll have to see what happens, but some of the character choices that they are bringing together at that game that they show a little bit of in that crowd, very interesting. I mean, Shrek is there, which is fine, I guess. Shrek is there, but that's not the one that freaks me out. I think it's cool that Shrek is there. What freaks me out, did you see that the Clockwork Orange bad guys are in there?
No.
They're the guys who do that rape scene in Clockwork Orange, the singing in the rain scene. They're in the trailer. It's them. It's not. It's weird. I'm why are they? It's fine, but what? I just think it's a weird choice, I guess, and it's just a little strange that they're in the How do they fit in there?
That movie, I think, has transcended in a way as basically in the mainstream becoming just a reference.
Mm-hmm.
In the mainstream, that movie doesn't even exist. It only exists as a reference. So you can kind of get away with something like that.
Yeah, it's
so separate now from the actual movie.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just so... I just thought it was very bizarre. It was just that's a very weird thing to put in Space Jam 2. Or Space Jam a new legacy or whatever. But yeah, so anyhow, it's going to be interesting. I guess I'm interested to see if it's even connected to the first movie at all. Cuz it might not be.
Yeah. I have no idea. I mean, look at Back in Action, right? That had nothing to do with Space Jam.
Yeah.
It was kind of marketed as a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It
was?
It obviously did terrible. A little bit, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't remember that movie being marketed, but that's interesting.
So I have no idea. And also, you know what else we didn't see in the trailer? Are any of the other NBA players that are going to be in this movie.
Yep.
So
it's going to be interesting.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Do you know did they release the NBA players?
Who's going to be in there? Yeah, but I don't.
Okay.
I think Anthony Davis is going to be in there, and maybe Giannis.
Cool.
And I can't remember everybody.
Cool. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then they also decided to take down the old website for Space Jam, which is a shame.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, for the new one. You can still, apparently, you can get to the old website still. You have to click on a link through the new website to get to it. But it's still there. It just still feels weird.
It's like updating the Mona Lisa or the Statue of David.
Yep. It's like if they just put a beret on the Statue of Liberty. I don't know why I said that, but you know, you get it.
Sure, yeah, just like updating something like that. I mean, that's true though.
It's
for the digital age.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I just think they should have just made a separate URL. I think it would have been fine.
Oh yeah,
it would have been
absolutely.
so easy. Would have been so easy for them to do that.
The thing that bothers me is just imagining somebody at Warner Brothers, whoever made that decision, being like, people are gonna love this. Like, finally, it's getting an update. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna be so crazy.
Yep.
Everybody's like, fuck you.
No, it deserves to be in the Smithsonian. I really do think that website should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to say, but I think you're right. You know?
I'm completely like honest when I say that, because like it really did stand the test of time, and I don't really know any other websites from that era that are still around. I know there are websites
out there somewhere,
but like Space Jam is like literally like probably the most famous one that I know of.
Oh, it absolutely is.
So it holds its place, you know. But but I'm glad. At first I thought it was just completely gone. I'm glad to hear that it's not gone, because that just is unnecessary. I think what they did is unnecessary to begin with, but that's fine. And yeah, we got 2 other trailers to get through, and then we got some movies. So let's see what we got going on here. This next trailer, super fucking excited to talk about this one. The Loki trailer. We got a Loki trailer. This, oh man, dude. We talked about it a little bit, but I'm so fucking excited for this trailer. It seems like our predictions were right about the time police that you were talking about when we saw the poster. Yeah, man, it looks fucking awesome. It looks so cool. It looks like the highest budget. We talked about this a little bit, but it looks like almost a movie, like a Marvel movie. Like that's the budget that we're seeing. It's pretty awesome. And we get to see more of Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston and like interacting and like how it's gonna work. You
know, even before you see that pairing on screen, it feels like a good duo, you know?
Yeah, no, it does. I'm excited. I'm so excited. You know what vibes I get from... And
What vibes do you get, Joe?
Well, did we talk about this? Maybe we didn't. This Loki is a completely... I mean, what's cool about this whole concept is this is a completely different Loki than the one that died in Endgame. Spoilers. This Loki is the one right after Avengers. Like, there is so much growth that happens with that character since the first Avengers movie. Like, so much. And all of that never happened with this Loki. So, it's going to be so interesting to see, like...
Yeah, like, this Loki... His mom is still alive, right? He's not close with Thor.
No, he's just a dick. He literally...
Yeah, I mean, like, it's Loki right after he got his plan failed, right?
Yeah.
His big master plan, so...
It's so interesting.
Wild.
It really is. Like, we didn't, like, remember?
But we know that this Loki has potential to be that Loki.
Yes, for sure.
But it must be so cool for Tommy to get to play a character like this,
yeah.
You know?
I think it's a really cool idea. And I also want to say it's almost like the Gamora-like situation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a kind of similar situation there. I do want to say it's interesting because, like, I mean, remember in Thor, I know it's hard to remember anything from this movie, but remember in Thor the Dark World when Loki, like, it's one of my, I gotta say, Thor the Dark World, not a great movie, but I gotta tell you, it has some of the best, like, Loki moments and some of the best character Loki moments in the entire MCU. And one of them is when we first see Loki again, and he has this like illusion of him in the jail cell, and then he drops it, and you just see this completely broken. I think that's right when he finds out his mom is dead.
Yeah.
He's just completely destroyed, and it's like, so like this is a Loki that didn't go through that, like you said. That's gonna be super interesting, and it. I mean, I think you can tell from the trailer, like, that he is like has
still. I mean, it's obviously he's
got that confidence.
He's a tricky guy, but yes, he's got that confidence to always be scheming. ABS, always be scheming.
It's awesome. I'm really excited. I mean, that line that he says in the trailer where he's like, I'm like 10 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, because he did fail, obviously, his plan still from the first Avengers movie, but it's not like he technically got caught or got punished for that. So he's still like run around. I don't know, man. It's really cool.
Oh, he feels so smart. Because he got lucky with the Tesseract. He got so fucking lucky with that Tesseract, but he feels like, oh, this was all part of the plan. Like, I think he feels so fucking smart. And I do want to say, I heard this from my friend yesterday. So you know that little snippet they show of him in the pilot captain's uniform in the airplane? It looks like he's on an airplane. It's a very short like clip, but he like winks at the person and he looks like he's in a captain's uniform. A pilot's uniform, I should say. And so apparently a theory going around is that they might, I don't know the guy's name. It's some obscure name, but it's apparently the theory going around is that Marvel might be having him play or act like this guy who in real life is famous for robbing a plane, and there's not a lot known about this guy at all. The only thing that is known is that he robbed a plane and got away with it, and nothing else. Like, it's a complete mystery. It's like one of those unsolved mysteries, and like he never got caught. And people think that maybe, like, it's just obscure enough that maybe they're gonna try and, like, because in real life no one knows about it, so maybe they're gonna try and, like, play it off.
Right.
Like, I think that could be cool.
Well, I don't like that, but the only way that I think it had some chance of working is because he's obviously going to be going through different timelines, potentially different universes, that if he's visiting ours in that moment, then I'm okay with that. But if it's like, oh, this happened also here, that doesn't work for me with this Marvel universe. Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I saw that, I heard about that theory, and I thought that's an interesting idea. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it just looks insane. It looks nuts. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be great.
This is the first trailer I've seen in a while, from not only from Marvel but just in general. This is the first trailer I've seen in a while that's gotten me actually hyped up for something coming out, other than the Dune trailer. The Dune trailer, I think, was the last trailer that I've seen where I was like, oh, I can't wait. Like, trailers just haven't been doing it for me lately. Like, I just haven't been getting because all the trailers I've been seeing lately, it's like, that could be good, that could also be dog shit. This trailer, I will be so floored if it's not good. If the movie's not good.
Oh, yeah, it's
or if the show's not good.
The show's gonna be excellent.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, so that's why I'm so excited for it. But yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. It's coming out very soon. In June. The same weekend as In the Heights. So
nice.
Yeah.
Wonder which one I'll watch first.
Well, you know what I'm watching first.
I do.
And we got one more thing. You want to take the reins on this one?
I don't remember what it is.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ghostbusters. So there was just this tiny Ghostbusters clip for the new Ghostbusters movie that got delayed. Now I guess they're getting ready to, like, you know, start getting people interested in it again.
Yep.
So they put out this very short clip of Paul Rudd in a grocery store, and he stumbles across a tribe of very tiny Stay Puft Marshmallow Men.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
But...
man, makes me so nervous for this movie because, say what you will about all the reboots, like, it's possible for them to be good. Frickin', what was it? Force Awakens. That movie was sick, even though everybody was like, it's New Hope. Yeah, but go, fuck yourself, because it's still really good.
Yeah.
It did, and yes, there are references to the original, obviously, because it's a fucking sequel, but it's not like that movie was not dependent on those references. If you ask me, I think some people disagree, but that's stupid because the plot. I'm talking about The Force Awakens, whatever. What I'm saying is, okay, let me to finish it off.
Okay.
The reason I brought it up is because the references in that, they still make sense for that movie.
Sure.
Okay. This is just a reference to the original, just so that people will go, hey, I remember that. Hey, look at those guys. But it makes no sense at all because, as we know from Ghostbusters, that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that appears is fucking Gozer, right? The Destroyer.
Exactly.
And so what are these little guys? What?
Because the only reason why the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or Marshmallow Man appeared is because Dan Aykroyd's character was thinking of it. That's the whole reason. So unless Paul Rudd unless for some reason Gozer is released and Paul Rudd was thinking about Stay Puft Marshmallows.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
It's a little weird.
It was like a funny little thing, you know? It was funny enough, and I liked when the first one, like, came out of that bag.
Yeah.
But I was like, if this is what the whole movie is gonna be like, then we're in for a real bad movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will say I loved just watching Paul Rudd walk around and be like, whoa. Like,
see, I didn't like that really either, because it felt kind of lazy to me. Not for Paul Rudd, of course, but as, like, because it feels like, oh, Paul, just walk around, because what you do in this scene doesn't even matter, because we're only doing it for these Marshmallow Men. So I feel like he got really no direction and was just like,
that's fair. That's fair.
So I didn't like that either.
I think for a teaser it worked. I mean, but we'll see how it fits in the movie, or if it'll even be in the movie. It could be one of those things where...
Yeah, it's just like a little promotional kind of thing.
Yep.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
It could be just a little promotional thing. I could see that. But yeah, like I agree with you. Very, very strange. There's really nothing else to say but that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, the cast seems cool. I think this is from that first trailer that we saw about a year ago now. It is the best shot we got at a Ghostbuster anything, in my opinion. Like the best shot that we've seen since they first tried to reboot it, I guess. So they've only tried twice from what well, maybe they tried more than twice, but I feel like I only...
Well, the one was just a sequel.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just Lady Ghostbusters.
Yep. That is true. But yeah, so we'll see what's going on with that whenever we get more about it. I'm sure they're gonna release a trailer soon. Like that's the vibe I got from when they released this, like that they're getting ready to.
Yeah, which is a solid move.
Yeah,
you know, I was something light to kind of ease people back into.
Yeah, well, I was literally thinking.
I mean, frankly, just like remember that this is happening before putting out a whole trailer.
I mean,
a
trailer
good idea.
There's so many movies coming out soon, and then right after this, we'll get into the movies this week. But There's literally like so many trailers. There's so many movies coming out soon via Paramount Plus that we still haven't seen, and in theaters that we still haven't seen trailers for. And like Mission Impossible is coming out this summer, I believe, or this fall, one of those. It's coming out soon, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year. Let me.
It can't be right, because Tom Cruise was just yelling at those guys like.
That was longer ago than you think. I'm pretty sure. Let me check. I thought I saw on Mission Impossible 7, 2021.
You know what? You're right. That was a while ago.
And I think it's not like they just started. They were just... So... November 19th, 2021. So, I mean, fall. Yeah. So,
that makes sense.
But still, we haven't seen... I feel like that's still, like, I don't know. I'm used to...
What month is this? March? April. We're in April now.
That's true. So maybe if I you know what, maybe we do have a couple more months till we'd see one of those. But I don't know.
Especially because trailers feel like are coming out now so close to when things are released.
You're right. I mean, The Matrix Reloaded, or whatever it's gonna be fucking called, Matrix Forever, I don't fucking know.
Matrix Forever.
That I feel like Matrix Forever could be the title of it. That'd be so funny. Matrix Forever. Oh my god.
Forever. No way. If it had come out in like 2007, then yes, that would have been the title, but no way.
I just made someone $1 million. Like, for giving them that. Someone's gonna run with that. I call it. But anyhow, yeah, well, we still haven't seen a trailer for that movie, and like that movie's coming out at the end of summer, so we're gonna see, like, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. You're right though. Trailers are just coming out like closer to the dates, and I'm just getting used to it still, I guess. So yeah. We'll see what's happening. Paramount Plus has quite the line of movies releasing, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for movie news this week. A lot to get through, but whenever we go off, we have that like chunk of time to get through for it. We got crazy movie this week. Big release, new release. Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah. You wanna take this one away?
Yes. So this is what seems to be, at least it was billed as, and I think that it will be, the kind of final film in Universal's monster saga that they've been doing. It started with Godzilla back in 2013 with Bryan Cranston, 14 when that one came out.
Yeah, it was when we were still in high school.
Yeah, and then you had Kong Skull Island. Mm-hmm. Then you had, what was it, last year, Godzilla King of the Monsters?
2 years
and now
ago,
finally Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yep.
Now, Joe, I know you haven't seen any of those three.
No.
I've only seen Kong Skull Island. Mm-hmm. I did not watch any of the Godzillas. And to get right into it,
yeah,
I think that you're probably losing. I think that you are probably losing something watching this without watching the others. Mm-hmm. But also, I hope you are, because if they did not give you, if they gave you as little context in those other ones as they did with this one, then that's just bad news. Then I'm glad that I didn't see those two Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
So the title is pretty self-explanatory. It's
literally
it's Godzilla versus King Kong. Kong is, so Skull Island took place in the past.
Yes.
Before Godzilla rose up in the Bryan Cranston movie, so it's kind of like a prequel, but it only focused on Kong. And so now what I do think is really cool though is now we get to see this older Kong, and you can tell from watching the first, like, he is bigger and he is like older and more grizzled. I like that
That's cool.
visually they did a great job of showing Kong aging, and so now Kong is being secluded by this group of scientists because they know that if he gets out, Godzilla's going to come after him.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things with this saga it sets up that there was this whole history between King Kong species and these titans. Mm-hmm. Although I think Kong is technically a titan, the way they use the term in the movies. Mm-hmm. You know, he's just like a big guy that came from the center of the earth. That's another part. There's a world at the center of the earth.
Yeah.
And that's where all these titans came from.
Hollow Earth, I think.
Hollow Earth, yeah, that's what they kind of refer to the theory as. I think that's a nice, that's a play on flat Earth.
Yeah.
So, which is why the term kind of feels comfortable and very easy to digest, and it rolls off the tongue. Mm-hmm. What to say about this movie?
I know.
So obviously they bring Kong out and they're like, he's our only hope, because Godzilla starts attacking, and everybody's like, why is he doing this?
Yeah, and we can't even get into why, because they didn't show any of that in the trailers. Like the whole thing, like the whole payoff, they didn't like.
Oh, we have to spoil that though.
We will spoil it, but I want to give it. Let's spoil it at the end.
Because I wanted to, because that's a big.
No,
thing.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
I liked this movie at the start of it. I was interested. Yep. I definitely liked Brian Henry's character a lot. That was the most compelling part to me, was, at least at the beginning of the movie, was this kind of mystery with Millie Bobby Brown and Brian Henry trying to figure out like what this big corporation was up to, and
gave me Jurassic Park vibes so much.
Yeah,
it gave me such Jurassic Park vibes.
And then I found myself, watching the first hour of this movie and looking forward to those moments with Millie Bobby Brown stuff, with the mystery stuff, and then kind of wading through the Kong stuff, because I love so Kong, but I didn't really like the
the storyline with.
I don't think I have her name written down. Oh no, Rebecca Hall's character. Yeah. That like her. I didn't understand her connection to Kong. The kids, the deaf girl's connection to Kong, I really understood, and I loved that. Yeah. Especially, there's the one moment, where they once they get on the boat to bring Kong to presumably fight Godzilla. That's a really great moment. But this woman, she was like, it seemed like she knew all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you know that?
Because she obviously has been like the lead researcher and the lead like.
But there were things that
and the caretaker of the girl.
How could you get that from doing your research? Like, it didn't even seem to me like the research that she seemed to be doing was simply observing Kong in a controlled environment.
I mean, we're seeing her after. We didn't get to see her like lead up to it, I guess, but it was easy for me to just connect the dots and assume that this is a relationship, that she is basically the caretaker of this girl now, who is also the fucking connection that they have to Kong, and she's been put on as the lead person.
So you're saying she felt connected to Kong because they say in the movie as well that like Kong helped save this girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're obviously not seeing like the whole story there, which is maybe a mistake, but it was easy for me to like connect those dots. Like, I liked her character a lot, actually. I liked her. This is crazy. Just before I know you have more, but I do want to say really quick, I felt the complete opposite to you about the storylines. I actually thought the Millie Bobby Brown storyline I did not really care for that, and I liked the Khan stuff way more. I was wading through the Millie Bobby Brown stuff and like loving the Khan stuff. So that's interesting. That
Well, I'll tell you, I just liked the fact that there was a mystery, like that gave me something to be compelled by, and it gave me a reason to continue watching. I loved seeing Kong, like he was really cool. But that's only going to keep my attention for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I liked the story. I really liked the dynamic with the girl, and I liked, like I said, I liked her character. Her name was Eileen. I liked that character. I liked the dynamic that she had with the daughter. The one guy grew on me.
He grew on me as well. Skarsgård's character, right?
Yeah, he grew on me. Like, yeah. I saw their dynamic. Like, by the end, I really I felt like connected to them. With Khan. So I think that's why I liked that storyline more, because I didn't feel connected at all to Millie Bobby Brown's character and her friend.
Yes.
And
you know what? That's a good point, because that's very true. They give you nothing to connect with them with. What they were doing is the only thing that I liked about that. But is, like I said, was the whole mystery element. But you're absolutely those particular characters. Like, I had zero stake in what happened.
Exactly. To them. Yep.
And I felt like they really were trying to push Brian Henry's character.
I liked him
to be a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was to the fault of the movie.
Yep. I agree.
Like, I think he could have done a lot more with that if they had let him. I feel like they just kind of wrote it to be a little shallower.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely like written like oh. It's definitely written like he's this crazy guy. Like, I imagine, like, when the execs, like,
and
pitched it.
And
it's like,
he's a little, like... And, he's a real oddball.
Yeah. He's just this complete crazy guy, and, his wife is dead. Spoilers, I don't care. That's not a big spoiler.
But I didn't really...
It just didn't... It felt
because
on.
Take the moment when... I'm sorry to mention these very specific moments in the movie, but when he's trying to get access to that one computer, he's kind of tricking that guy by being like, "Oh, I make my own hand sanitizer, and like I'm doing all this weird shit." Like,
I like that.
He was. See, that particular moment, it was kind of like, okay, decide, like, who is this guy? Because he obviously was doing that as a ploy.
Yes.
Like, he was being smart about trying to act like a weirdo. But then they kind of try and make it look like, oh no, he is for sure a really weird guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, which one is he? Because I don't believe him as a full-on weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, I think that he's clearly,
Yeah, I mean, he showers with bleach or something like that.
Right, which seems to, like, pick a lane, kind of, what type of...
Yeah. They kind of were just throwing him in all these different areas and not committing to, like, any of them. They kind of just, like... Yeah, I don't know. Like, I love that actor, and I think he did what he could. But I do think that, very two-dimensional writing-wise, because they didn't give him enough. I don't think they gave that character enough to flesh him out.
Well, I think it was more kind of what you said, that they just tried to make him do so many different things.
Yeah, yep. And then also, I mean, just really quick, just while we're on the topic of, like, tech stuff and with their storyline, when they solve the problem by spilling whatever on that computer, That was that was so fucking stupid to me. I thought that was so dumb. Like, why? And it didn't even do anything. Like, we don't even know what that necessarily did, because nothing like happened. Like, nothing changed, unless if something did change, we didn't see it. We didn't see the, like, what it was that changed visually. We just had to guess that it happened. So, and we'll get into that when we talk about spoilers, because that literally is talking about the biggest spoiler in the whole movie, which was a surprise and was really cool. But anyway, yeah, I guess I want to just say, from the perspective of someone who hasn't seen any of them, this makes me want to watch the Kong Skull Island movie even more than I already did. And I want to say, the reason why I didn't watch Kong Skull Island or the other ones isn't because I didn't want to watch them. Like, I feel like they'd be good, like, they're enjoyable. I just, at least the Kong Skull Island one, I have a lot of interest in. It was just one of those things I never, like, got around to watching it. There's a lot of movies to watch. They were just the movies that I never, like, got around to watching. So this makes me really want to watch the Kong Skull Island movie, because I loved everything with Kong. And I really loved what they did with Kong in this movie, like you said. He was great. And the animation was fucking incredible. The effects in this movie are great. A lot of this movie is green screen. And I'm not gonna lie, some of it, you could beat me. It looked fucking great. I was very, very impressed. I was worried about how this movie was gonna look. And I don't think it looked pretty great. It reminded me of Planet of the Apes shit. Like, that kind of CG. Where it's very, very, like, real. It was a little bit less real than that, but, you know, it's a fucking giant...
It was also such a completely different environment than anything we see in those movies.
Of course. So, for what it was, I thought it was incredible. Like, it was great. So I really liked the effects in this movie. I also want to give props to, the... Oh, God, I have the name here, but I gotta find it now. I want to give props to the DOP for this movie, because...
Ben Bernson.
Yeah. Holy shit. The shots in this movie, and I think you're gonna agree, the movements and the shots in this movie, specifically during the fight scenes, incredible. They do such a good job visually, doing so many different things with the camera, experiment-wise, and, like, it's great. It's so engaging, and it's so dynamic, and it really makes you feel like, it really brings the scale, everything. Like, they do a great job showing the scale of everything, and the destruction, and just the perspective, just using the camera. It's amazing. It was really, I was blown away, because I was so worried that it was just going to be overhead shots and fucking
that's the thing. There's no, all the kaiju movies that we've seen before, none of them have been shot like this. It's completely changing the game. It's going to change the genre, which I'm sure will kind of take a dip now, but it always comes back. So when it does, it's going to be shot like this. It's going to have to be, or else it's, people are going to like it. And that's obviously a good move, because I think that there's only... People expect certain things from these kind of movies, and it is cool, obviously, but I think it definitely is easy to get bored, right? If it's just So I mean, they stepped up to the plate and absolutely nailed it by taking these fight scenes. I mean, this is something that's been around since, the early 50s, late 40s, for like Godzilla and stuff, like and it's never been done like this, So that was really cool to see. That was definitely a good move. The biggest problems, and I said this when we were talking about this movie coming out, the biggest problems that these movies always face are in the modern era, trying to balance like a human story with the battling of these monsters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And I think that having to flip between the one with the doctor, and obviously that had Kong basically at the center of it, and then the other human story of Millie Bobby Brown and stuff. That kind of, I don't know, that felt a little wonky to me as far as like pacing is concerned and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't think that for these movies that's necessarily something. I don't know if that's something you have to do or if it's not, honestly, because
I think
like you have to have something to keep people's attention when they're not fighting.
Yeah.
The other thing is you have to create stakes for this fight, right? Which they did that in kind of a strange way. They brought a lot of the lore that they had already established from the previous movies into this. And when some of it made no sense to me, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? When, spoiler alert, skip ahead a few seconds, Kong found that like fucking axe.
Oh yeah.
And it's like this is, so they were in like the Stone Age, practically the Bronze Age by the look at it, Kong's people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, it's,
and there's like, what? I was like, what is happening right now? He has an axe? Like, is that just to sell toys? Maybe.
Well,
I mean, probably. You have to sell toys somehow, but
well, I think it was mainly like this is his weapon to destroy.
Yeah, but what?
Well, this is I saw it as, this is what I saw it as. So remember when he placed it down on the ground? And
yes,
it made
they had what?
So this was obviously where his kind lived.
Yeah.
And what I saw it as is it was made from the scales of.
Yes. No, that I get. But I understand what it is.
Okay.
I just.
I don't know.
Don't get the point of it, I guess, really. Okay. I don't understand why
it made
was
kind of sense
to
me.
Why that was. I just. What? Why do you. Yes, of course I understood the context of everything, but I was like, what does this really have to do with anything? Because the other weird thing is they say that there's so much history between Kong's species and, you know, guys like Godzilla. But unfortunately, due to the fact that the two people who have the biggest stake in this fight, Godzilla and King Kong, don't speak, we're only getting that idea from a third-party perspective. So it feels a little less connected when we see, for me, I should say, seeing this remnants of Kong's ancestors' civilization.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they did a good job, like, I actually think they did a pretty good job characterizing Kong and making him able to be.
That's for sure true.
Because this is what I was about to say is, if I had to characterize this movie's definitely more of a King Kong movie sequel than a Godzilla movie.
For sure.
Because you're rooting, and I don't know if this is how it is in the original Godzilla vs. Kong, maybe it is. You're definitely rooting for King Kong, King Kong is the main character, and I think they do a good job of making him relatable and they do a good job showing his emotions through the characters that they establish that are kind of his party. And like I said, I think the animation goes a long way with that. They did a great job with his face, and his eyes. His fucking eyes, dude, nuts. That shit was crazy. I don't know. I know that's like stupid, but like, it might sound
No,
stupid.
it's not.
But
You're
like,
absolutely right.
Like
That's
you
not
connect,
stupid at
you
all.
connect through someone through their eyes a lot, and like,
Yeah.
so that's a huge part, like for an animated creature, and like they killed his eyes. I know
That's true, but I'll tell you what. I almost think that I would have felt. Not that I didn't, because you do feel connected to Kong in this movie. Like, he feels like a completely fleshed out character.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the moments where, because think about when he gets into that hollow earth, right? Like, he's stepping on the ground treaded by his ancestors.
Yeah.
And I think that the weight of that experience for him, especially because we know he's been alone for so long,
was rushed through.
No, it would have landed more for me, I think, if we had just seen it with Kong. Like if it was just Kong was there, and they do, some maybe like 360 shots of him kind of having this moment to himself, but instead they're cutting to the people being like talking for him. And because he was such a fleshed out character, it was like, let him speak for himself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that this movie still has the issue where I get that. So like the people felt like they had to be like they were too afraid to just basically switch perspectives.
Yes, and again, focus, there had to be, for whatever reason, this emphasized focus on the humans in the story. And especially because of what you're talking about, the technological advances and Kong looking like he looked, you don't need it, really.
No,
I don't think so.
No, you really don't. That's a good point. I will say, in how and this is like I'm not saying this is the right way they had to do it, but in how the story was kind of framed and what happens at the end and how it all has to connect, I understand why they had those people tethered to them, because in a way you could say it would just feel like not saying that it matters, and maybe they shouldn't have even introduced it in the first place, which is completely fair, but it would have just felt like unsatisfying if Skarsgård's character and since the girl always is with Kong, it just would have felt weird if maybe they weren't with him. Just with the way they framed it. If they framed it differently, I completely would have been down for a perspective switch, and I agree with you, they didn't need them tethered there. I just think the movie kind of set itself up to fail in that regard.
100%.
And so the way the movie is now, I don't think it would have worked if they just completely did that, but I agree with you that I think it would have been better if they made it so he could have been separated from this group, because you're right, I'm sure they did that in I'm sure they did that in Kong Skull Island, where they just had some alone time with just Kong.
I don't remember,
because they did that in King Kong. They had just in the Peter Jackson, which is a completely different movie, but the Peter Jackson King Kong, they had a good amount of just alone time with him, which I thought was good. I like that movie a lot, actually. Still, that's a cool movie. But anyhow, yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else before spoilers. Yeah, the fight scenes were really cool. The main gripes I've had with it were, I thought the Millie Bobby Brown storyline just wasn't super engaging. It needed to be there. The mystery element was cool, and I did but like you said, the pacing wise and the switching between the two storylines was a little strange.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that happens, you're right.
Well, I think the way that storyline ended, which I'll let you finish unless you're ready to get into spoilers, because that's really...
There is one more thing before spoilers. this is without spoilers. I did not like the way this movie ended. I thought I fucking hated the way this movie ended. I didn't hate, you know what? I didn't hate it. I thought it was just super stupid and rushed. We could talk about that when we get into spoilers, but I did not like the way the movie ended. I will say I loved how the movie started because I didn't see any of the other fucking movies. And this movie did a great job of getting you up to speed because I think they knew that there was going to be a lot of people watching this movie that didn't see like King of Monsters.
Well, maybe.
Because King of Monsters didn't do very well.
Yeah. But yeah, the first hour of this movie is really good, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
I liked the last act of this movie. I really liked the third act of this movie. I thought it was fucking awesome. This is when we can get into spoilers, I guess.
Okay, yeah, so here we go.
Yeah, so don't listen... This is actually a huge spoiler. Like...
Yeah, it's a big one.
They literally didn't allude to it at all in the trailers.
Nope.
At least not to me. So definitely if you're interested in watching it, I'll say even if... It's not like one of those things where you're like, oh, I saw that coming. Like, I did not see it coming at all. So definitely turn away now if you plan on watching it, because I don't want you to get spoiled. But if you don't care, then keep listening. Just skip ahead to the throwback.
So here we go.
Here we go.
So obviously the end of Millie Bobby Brown's journey, basically, is the discovery, what they had been looking for the whole time, the answer to the mystery, is Mechagodzilla.
Which is fucking crazy.
Here's what I didn't like about it.
Okay.
Is that if you're following these characters through a mystery, you kind of want the reveal to impact them in some way directly, and this kind of didn't. Like, it affected them the same way it affected everyone, but it didn't. They didn't really have an individual stake in it.
No, they literally, their whole purpose,
like, it felt like they were just it turned these characters into plot devices.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just about to say. Yeah, they literally served one purpose, and then, like, by the end, she connects with her dad again, and that's it with that. Like, there's literally, like, they literally all just serve, like, this weird, like, plot device, and that's it. Like, there's no, like, character there. Like, it's just, like, there's no stakes really there with them specifically.
And then even the reveal in that moment, like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, Mechagodzilla, but the way that they do it completely ruined it for me, with the kid going, it's Mechagodzilla. And I like that kid from Deadpool 2. From Deadpool 2. Yeah. He was good in that movie, right?
Yeah.
But Jesus fucking Christ. I was like... And that was like, oh, that made me not excited about Mechagodzilla at all.
Wow. It didn't ruin Mechagodzilla for me. I definitely agree that, like, his reveal wasn't, like, amazing. I was still pretty shocked. I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
That's what bothers me with fucking movies, man. It's like, we know what it is. We know what it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to have this moment when somebody says it.
Yeah,
like, we know what it is. And in fact, it's kind of cooler if you don't, because I like that there's a little depth to the meaning. Then it means something different to us slightly than what it means to them.
Yeah, that line was pretty stupid.
Are familiar with that.
That line,
I mean, it was terrible.
Where he's like, it's Robo Godzilla, and then he's like, no, that's Mecha. Like, that's so fucking stupid.
That was really bad.
It's really bad. So yeah, that wasn't good. I agree, but I will say the fight, this is the thing. I actually, surprisingly, when I first saw Mechagodzilla, I was like, oh no, Spider-Man 3. Oh no, it's happening. This is bad. This can go really bad. But I'm not gonna lie, because I would have no interest in watching a whole Godzilla movie with just Mechagodzilla and Godzilla. I actually was completely fine with them putting Mechagodzilla at the end of this movie, because I like that at the end there was this tag team duo. Like, that was fucking... I actually thought that I was surprised that, and I was happy that Mechagodzilla, I think, actually fit well in the movie. Like, I think he fit, like, or I think they fit him in pretty well. And I thought that was pretty cool that they actually got it to work for the movie. I think, like you said, his reveal's kind of not great, but once they get, like, to the fighting part, and the way they explain, like, the way it explains, like, why Godzilla was attacking them, and the whole thing with it, what it was, the one guy's head, the one Titan's head from the last movie, the king of all of them that Godzilla kills. The Hydra one.
Right.
The three, yeah, that one.
His name starts with an R.
Yeah. I think it was him, at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was him. Maybe it wasn't him. That's what I got. That's the vibe I got, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen the other ones, so who knows. But that's my guess. Either way, it was cool that they, like, had that element there. So, yeah, the only thing I didn't like other than the intro of Mechagodzilla was, like I said, when they spill that shit on the computer, like, the kid who's supposed to be fucking trying to hack this computer, and he's got off.
I mean, he does say that he's not, like...
No, I know. Yeah. But then he just goes, oh, shit. He spills it all over the computer, and that does something, like, and we never see what it does. We just, it literally, like, nothing visual happens to Mechagodzilla that weakens him. He literally just, like, it's just, like, it could be pure coincidence that fucking King Kong, like, and Godzilla decided to do the super, like, the super axe. Like, I don't know. Oh, but, dude, that tag team fight was so fucking cool. That was so fucking cool. I was like, this is insane. And this is awesome. This is so fucking awesome. It was the best fight in the movie, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know. When he fucking breathed on the axe, that was so fucking sick. And when they were breathing at each other, when the breath, oh, dude. Yeah. I was like, dude, this is like Voldemort versus Harry Potter. That's like the oh, it's so sick. I don't know. Was it like not as satisfying for you? Like, I thought it was super fucking cool.
No, it was cool, but this is just not necessarily my type of movie, you know?
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Like, just in general. But, no. But it's you know, it is still cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. These type of movies are not my, like the crazy destruction stuff, like the closest that I've ever gotten to liking one of these types of movies is Pacific Rim. And that's still that's still the gold standard for me with these type of movies. Pacific Rim is just still, like, one of my favorites. Yeah, this movie definitely blew my expectations, which I'm happy about. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And I thought it was gonna be worse because I didn't see the other movies, and I don't think it mattered at all, which I kind of like. And I kind of like, for my enjoyment, I should say. Yeah. If I was someone who watched the other ones, like, maybe I'd be a little disappointed. I think that's something...
I feel like I would have gotten more out of it had I watched all of them. Because I did get a little more out of it, I think, after watching Kong.
That's true. That is true. It makes me want to watch Kong Skull Island more. It doesn't really make me want to watch the Godzilla movies more.
Yeah, because they really... But you know what? I think that they knew that, like, Kong was kind of the pony to back in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
So, they focused on him so much more in this movie.
Kong Skull Island did... I think Kong Skull Island did way better than all the other ones.
It did, yeah.
So
well, the first Godzilla actually was, like, did pretty good, but
oh yeah,
I still think that Kong Skull Island did do better.
yeah. I mean, Tom Hiddleston. It had a crazy cast too, and
Yeah.
like, you know, I do want to see, and visually that movie looks like really great. Like I like just from the trailer, like I really want to still watch that movie because I feel like it'll be really cool. So yeah, I do want to check it out. Yeah, like I said, just reiterate one more time. Oh, the music. I thought the music was cool. Not only the score, but I also thought like the music with Khan in the beginning was cool. Like that song, I really thought that song was cool when he's waking up and stuff. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And they tied it together at the end, so I thought that was cool. But this movie's ending was so rushed. It just ends. It just fucking ends, dude. It's like, it's crazy. There's like, I'm fine with the movie not being longer, but there had to have been a better way to end it. Like, oh my god. Like, it's just... there was no build-up. It just happened. It just felt so, like, lackluster to me. Like, there was nothing better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with the ending.
I think just because the way they set everything up throughout the movie, that they kind of...
Yeah.
Maybe didn't give themselves another option.
Yeah, I guess this is the main thing, is I don't think they knew how they wanted to end this movie, and I think that shows.
Interesting.
And I also think that they shot themselves in the foot with the human characters, because they, you know, say what you will about the human plotline in this movie, but I was connected to the Khan characters. And they could have done something. They could have just done something more with them at the end. And they just...
Yeah, the wrap on everybody is
really quick. Like...
It's so rushed. Yeah, it's very unsatisfying.
Yeah, so it
feels kind of crappy.
So yeah, I don't know. It really felt like...
I guess that was like the one point where they were like, okay, well, let's just get everybody out of here because the monsters are done, so...
Yep. I also think, like... I would have liked to see more... One more thing, and then we'll wrap this up. I really would have liked to see more of, like, the aftermath of what the fuck... Like, they killed thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people.
Yep.
Like, a lot of fucking people died, and they did a good job of showing it during the fights. They did a good job with the perspectives. But... I thought they would do something at the end with some kind of weight. Like, they just, like, moved by it, and it was like, oh, happy ending. It's like, they're just fine with, like, that happening? Like, that just is fine now? Like, I don't know, like...
Here's what they could have done. They should have ended it on some kind of, like... Even if there was, like, a time jump on it, honestly. Or some kind of, like, memorial.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, the Earth is safe, and then finish with Kong doing his thing, you know, running around or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that would have at least acknowledged the event. Like, you're just acting like everything's hunky-dory now and nothing bad happened, and Khan is a hero and Godzilla's a hero again. They're not heroes. They just fucking... I mean, Khan you could argue is a hero, but Godzilla's not a hero. Like, what do you mean? Like, I mean, I understand. I don't want them to, like, put them in jail or kill them either.
Put them in jail.
No, and they can't. Like, that's the point, is they can't control them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. But they have to acknowledge, like, that they're not, like, heroes and that this isn't a happy thing that happened. Like, I don't know. So that's my, like, whole thing on the end. I think the end was rushed and not good. But other than that, and the pacing in the middle I thought was not great. But I liked the beginning, and I liked the fights, and I liked some of the character stuff with the Khan people, and I liked Mechagodzilla. And that's about... yeah. So there was quite a few things I liked, but as far as it goes, substance-wise, like, I don't think I'll ever rewatch this movie again. But I thought it was a cool watch. It was a fun watch. Summer blockbuster? This is one of them. it's just, as adrenaline pumping goes, it's not like you said. It's not like I would watch like a Mission Impossible over like that's more my like style of
100%
action movie. This is just not my style of action movie. But people love this shit. So I know some people are gonna like really like this more than I did. But I gotta give them props on the camera movements, and I think the score was also great, and the effects. So because of that, and that I think they did a okay job balancing everything, I'm gonna give this movie. It could get lower, but I'm gonna give it an 8. It could be lower.
That's high. I'm gonna give it 6.5 juice boxes.
Wow, that's way lower than I thought. I thought you were gonna at least gonna give it a 7.
No,
that's
an
crazy.
8. That's crazy.
Give it an 8 because it's pretty impressive.
But I'll tell you, you know what? That's
I haven't
seen an 8 for that reason. I understand, because they really do a great job of. I mean, they changed the genre with this movie.
Yeah.
Like with those movements and things like that.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I was between a 7.5 and an 8, and I almost gave it a 7.5, and I think it could go down to a 7.5. Actually, I might just, you know what? Because I said I wouldn't rewatch it again, I'm gonna bring it down to a 7.5. I'm actually retconning the score 7.5 just because I do want to put in perspective that I probably will not watch this movie again, but it did exceed my expectations quite a bit, and it was pretty enjoyable for what it was. And I was impressed by it, so I guess that's why it's a higher score. I also have no other context around this movie compared to the other ones. So it's not like I'm comparing this movie to another movie. I haven't seen the other ones, so this is just on this movie. So yeah, 7.5. Yeah, 6.5, 7.5. I think that's okay. I definitely thought you were gonna go a bit higher, but yeah, 6.5 is fair. That's as low as I'd go for sure. I wouldn't go lower than a 6.5. But yeah, good shit. That is Godzilla vs. Kong. If you have HBO Max, give it a watch. I recommend it. Like, I don't think it's not like you're gonna hate like watching it. If you'll know if you want to watch it. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, if you don't want to watch it, turn it off. I mean, you know what? I would say this would be a cool movie to watch in the theater. I think this would be cool to watch.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think this would be
because the scale.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like, when I'm fully vaccinated and I go out to a theater, if this is still in theaters and there's nothing better to watch, I might, just to go to a theater, I might watch this.
That'd be fun.
Like, just because I want to go to a theater so bad, and if this is the one movie that I think would be worth watching, it's worth it, like, for me, personally. So, I would happily watch this in the theater. Because I would be like, this looks fucking amazing. So, yeah. But yeah, let's do the throwback of the week. Without further ado, yeah, we got an interesting one, a niche one, for sure. It's Osmosis Jones, a movie that when I suggested it, I forgot it existed, and I was sad that I forgot it existed because it was one of my favorites as a kid. And yeah, what a movie! What a movie this movie is. I'm really excited. We've never talked about it before, so it's definitely one of those cult following movies. And yeah, I mean, let's just get into it. So this movie came out in 2001. And August 2001, and it's
good.
Well, it's relevant because 2000.
Oh, right, because 9/11.
It is relevant.
I forgot to never forget. Sorry.
So, like, I don't know.
I did not even put that together.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it
That's crazy.
Like, I don't know. It's not like this movie. Like, it's not like this is
9/11. Is that what you were going to say?
No. I'm saying, like, it's not like it's not like the timing of this movie being released is very relevant, but it's interesting. Like, I don't know. It's always interesting to me, like, to like we've talked about that before. Like movies pre 9/11 and movies post 9/11 is definitely a thing. But anyhow, yes. So August 2001, and it stars Bill Murray. It's directed by Bobby Farley and Peter Farley, two brothers, and I don't know much else that they've done.
They've done a lot of movies. You'd recognize some of them if you look. It's a pretty famous duo. Yeah.
Oh wow! Do they still make? Oh, they did Jimmy Neutron. No, they didn't do Jimmy Neutron. Wait. No. I got it. Now let me just click on one of their names and see where it goes. Because now I'm curious. Do you know like any off the top of your head? Me, Myself, and Irene. There's Something About Mary.
That's a very famous movie.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Jeez Louise, Joe.
Directed. They produced a lot of things. Oh, directed. Okay, 18 credits. I'm curious. Me, Myself, and Irene.
They did Green Book. Yeah, they did Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Why was he uncredited? That's weird. They did Green Book?
I guess they wrote those.
Oh, okay.
But I think they definitely directed them too, I think.
It says, oh, they directed Hall Pass. We actually recently talked about Hall Pass.
We did.
That's funny. Yeah, no, they directed that. Dumber
Fever
and Dumber
Pitch.
2.
Shallow
Fever
Hal.
Pitch, I don't know. I don't know Shallow Hal.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. They wrote a lot of good movies.
So I don't know a lot. I have not seen many of their movies. But that's cool to know that they're like known for other things. It seems like this is a very different movie from their other filmography. So, and it stars, really quickly, Chris Rock, Lawrence Fishburne, David Hyde Pierce, Brandy Norwood, William Shatner, Ron Howard, and Bill Murray, of course. And I'm trying to find the girl. The girl's actually not on the IMDb.
Who plays his daughter?
Yeah, Sally. Nope, additional. It's just the voices. It's not even the actors. There we go. Molly Shannon. Nope, not Molly Shannon.
No.
Nope.
She played the teacher. Molly Shannon.
Alina Franklin, I think, is that. Yeah. Okay, anyhow. So, regardless, so this is like one of those types, if you have never seen Osmosis Jones, this is one of those types of movies that is kind of like a scenario with, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Or, no, it's not. Jesus. Well, kind of, I guess.
Well, it's a mix of live action. You bring it up. Yeah, it's a mix of live action. It is a movie that I think, when you initially think of it, would get lumped in with Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because it is a movie that combines live action and animation.
Yes. So
the thing is, those two elements don't interact in this movie. They're completely separate from each other, where obviously in the other ones, it's all about the interaction. Yes.
The whole premise of this movie is there are worlds inside of people that, like, they're basically it's
just personifying everything inside of you. Like white blood cells are cops, which is what Osmosis Jones is.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the concept of stuff. Inside Out a little bit, but a little different than that. But it's like a similar idea. So, each person has like a little society in them, and and we are in the society that we're focusing on is Bill Murray's character. He's super unhealthy. He's kind of getting over the loss of his wife in a terrible way. He's just letting himself completely go, and he's like the grossest man alive. Like, that's basically what has happened. He has become the grossest man alive. And his daughter is trying to like get him to, stop being so gross, and kind of we're following him as well as his body inside the society inside of him start to collapse, and because of what he's doing on the outside, which is being influenced in part by what's happening inside, which is the mayor who's running everything and is kind of making decisions for him. And we also get to follow Chris Rock's character and Drix's character and David Hyde Pierce's character. Chris Rock plays a cop, a white blood cell, Osmosis Jones, and David Hyde Pierce plays this like not an antibiotic, just like a Tylenol, like a pill, like a cold
pill,
like
a
cold
Dayquil.
Pill. Yeah, and Drix is playing that character, and it's kind of like a buddy cop film in that sense in the inside. And then Lawrence Fishburne plays Thrax, who is undoubtedly one of the coolest fucking villains. Like,
see that his whole character design is right up your alley.
It's so fucking cool. Thrax steals the show. The voice of Thrax. I'm getting too far ahead of myself now, but and then he plays Thrax, which is a disease that has infected Bill Murray's character, and he wants to kill Bill Murray. He wants to be the deadliest virus. Like, he wants to be famous like Ebola and like basically like that kind of level.
COVID-19. Why were you struggling to?
So it's fucking and that's the summary of the movie, I'll say. And Osmosis Jones and Drix have to try and stop Thrax from killing.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that Thrax, the way that his disease works is it shows itself as kind of like looking like just a kind of common cold.
Yeah.
So the issue is that the mayor is up for re-election, the mayor of Frank's body.
Yeah.
And he wants anything that might look like Frank is not doing well, is being very unhealthy, he wants to cover it up.
Yep.
So he is like, this is nothing, it's ignoring it, and obviously Osmosis Jones is going to take the law into his own hands.
Yeah. Dude,
take it down.
Low key, like, maybe even high key, the political commentary on this movie is not bad. It's like, no, but seriously, like, I don't know, I think the parallels they draw between that, like, society and, like, real world.
Bless you.
Excuse me. The parallels they draw there, I think, oh my god.
He's muted himself so he can sneeze. We got it. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
You look better than ever.
The parallels that they do between that, I thought, like, held up. Like, I thought, I didn't pick up on it as a kid, honestly. But, like, watching it now, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty smart. Like, I think the writing is smart in that way, in my opinion. It could be a little heavy-handed, sure. But, like, I don't know. I thought it was, like, it was cool. I liked all those, like, references that they had in there for that. And I really like Chris Rock, man. You know, we didn't talk about the new Spiral trailer that came out. I just remembered the new Chris Rock Jigsaw movie that's coming out with Samuel L. Jackson as well. I miss Chris Rock in movies, and I'm glad he's going to be in that movie, and we'll see if that's a good movie. It might very well not be. But I love him in this movie. I think he is, like, I love Osmosis Jones. I think he's great.
Yeah, I remember really, really enjoying this movie when I was a kid, and it was a TV show on Disney Channel for a season. I think
Ozzy and Drix. That's what it was.
Which had a Game Boy game that I had.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
I think I remember that. Weirdly enough, yeah.
The character design and everything is excellent, you know.
Oh, it's crazy.
That all those ideas, personifying the things in the body, they do a great job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I felt rewatching it now. I felt so
Mm-hmm.
bad for Frank's daughter, Bill Murray's character. I
Yeah,
felt so bad for her
I
because
know.
she kind of at one point they never say how the mother died,
Yeah,
but she kind of alludes to it at one point that like it was because both her parents had such an unhealthy lifestyle, and
yeah.
she's really struggling because I get the sense that this girl knows that like that those traits can often kind of be passed down, and she's really trying to be like she wants to be an active, like
Mm-hmm.
healthy person.
Yeah.
um and
She,
there's so it
her
just
acting
feels
was
like there's
great.
so much pain watching her
Mm-hmm.
dad that she has watching her dad, you know,
Yeah,
treat his body so terribly and get down
yeah.
on himself.
I thought she was
Oh,
well
it's rough.
acted too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I think she did a great job.
as child
And
actors go, she did pretty good.
oh yeah, I mean, look at the end. I mean, the stakes get real in this movie, and I think it's
Oh,
all because of her reaction to what's going on.
yep. Oh, for sure. Well, because Bill Murray's character is like letting himself go so much, it's hard to like you're rooting for him, but it's hard to care about him like
Yeah,
to an
yeah,
extent.
right.
But that's not a bad thing. The movie plays into that. Like that's
Yeah, yeah.
it's like the movie's doing that on purpose. It's not
Yep.
like it's a bad character development like that. No.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bill Murray, I think, does a great job in this movie. Bill Murray's Bill Murray. I like that. Like, I think he does great as the character. This movie's so fucking gross. I gotta say that. That's like the main thing. This movie is
Holy
fucking
crap.
gross. It is. I remember thinking it was gross as a kid, and it does not get any less gross like now. It is gross. It should be, I guess, like for what the movie is. I'm glad I'm glad they committed to it. You know, you could tell they really committed to it. But God, it is hard to watch sometimes. It is really hard to watch. This is a movie I could not eat while watching. No fucking way. No fucking way would I ever be able to eat food while watching this movie. Like popcorn? Nope. Like literally any movie snack? I no. Fuck that. It's just, it makes you feel gross sometimes. Like the pimple scene. I hated that scene. Oh God, that scene sucks.
Yeah, I had to watch it through my fingers this time around because I remember that scene quite distinctly.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's gross.
Oh, they did a great job with it though. Like they really did.
Yeah, and it is. I do like the cuts between. I can't believe I'm forgetting that term for it specifically, but the cross cuts between
Yeah.
what's happening in the body and how it's affecting Frank in real time.
Yep. The editing was amazing. Like honestly better than I remember because the stakes, like you said, the stakes get real. Like
They do.
Frank
Because it's like Frank is gonna die.
He is on his deathbed and like he's literally like died. He's almost dead, and the way they cut it back and forth, and like you're seeing his daughter's like reactions and like, oh
and
man,
I was so. To bring her up again, I was so I obviously I know what's gonna happen in this movie, but watching it again, of course, I was like, do not let Thrax get her sick also.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it.
And that's a whole other element they add at the end. Dude,
Yeah.
Thrax is a great villain. He really not only just design-wise, he is a great villain, but design-wise, he's the coolest fucking he is the coolest cat around. He is the coolest cat around. He was, dude, just his voice lines. Like, what's that one line? He's like, every line that he says is so cool. Like, what's the fucking one that he says when he first shows up? He's like, oh my God, like I'm gonna make Ebola seem like it never even existed, or like no, that's not the line. There is this crazy line when he like first gets introduced and he comes out and he says like something like he just sounds like a cool cat. That's all I can say. That is what he sounds like. If you can imagine like someone sounding like a cool cat, That's Thrax. It is. I don't know how else to describe it. I wish I could remember the quote that I'm trying to think of, but he literally comes out of this like bubble and he like infects these guys, and like his like finger, and he's like the
Yeah, that's really cool. Having
so
everything
sick.
focus in on his finger. I guess that's ET style, but it's a lot different here.
Like it just makes everything heat up, and oh, it's so sick. It's just so cool. I loved...
The one thing that I didn't really like this time around watching was just so many of the puns. Some of them were okay, but also the way that they kind of were thrown in felt like, obviously it's animation, but it felt like they were ADR'd.
Yeah. Did you know Kid Rock is in this movie?
Yeah.
He plays Kidney Rock.
Yeah.
That's really silly. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff like that. I agree with you. It's a little, some of those definitely get like, it's like, okay, we get it. Like, whoa, we're in the body. Like, yeah.
Yeah, this didn't, I don't know. Because there's a lot of things I like about this movie, but
there are.
But why, like, if you isolate some stuff, but watching it, it kind of felt like a B kids movie to me. You know, it didn't feel like A+ material.
Yeah, it didn't. I see that. I think it is better than it was originally received, because I see how it was originally received, and it sucks. Yeah, I think this movie is actually... I think this movie's pretty damn good. I watched it. I watched it being ready to be like, man, this movie did not age well. I think this movie aged pretty damn well. I really like the animation style. That's true. I really like the animation style. I think the concept was ahead of its time. I also think the writing was pretty good for the most part. And like I said, the character design I think was great. I like the characters, I liked the action sequences too. I really liked and I liked even the non-action sequence, like when Osmosis is like trying to infiltrate the gang, and he has the one eye, and he's like, oh, I've been making people sick I'm the baddest cold you've ever seen. Like, it was I just thought that was so funny. And and I liked the relationship between him and Drix, and I thought that buddy cop dynamic worked well, and I thought Drix was pretty good. I don't know, there's not much I didn't like about it. I agree with you, some of it is like a little too like on the nose with the, like, it gets to a point with the references, but I really liked it for the most part. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say it's a solid kids movie for sure. I wouldn't say it's great, but there's just a lot of stuff that's, especially, but the number one thing I think is that the story is really strong as far as the way it's portrayed, and the idea of making it not just a well-executed buddy cop comedy, but also bringing in obviously the family element that we've talked so much about.
So what do you think keeps it from being an A+ for you? Like,
I'm trying to figure it out. It's just something I don't know if it's the pacing of like some of the Osmosis Jones stuff, or if it's just the dialogue in there.
Yeah, some of it is it gets grating for sure. Yeah, I just maybe, and a lot of it might be like nostalgia too.
Frank and the daughter are pretty well. I mean, we just get a sense of who they are very easily.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Drix, pretty well established, but like the mayor, for example, is a pretty pivotal part. And I don't know, he just wasn't fleshed out. The romantic interest was obviously that was completely just thrown in there.
Very thrown in there. You're right. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you're definitely right on that. That's fair. That's very fair. I agree. What are you gonna rate this one?
I think I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna use 7 juice boxes
I think
because
that's fair.
it's tough to say. I could go lower, I think, but I'm comfortable at a 7
I'm
for
gonna
this
give it
movie.
a 7.5. I'm gonna give it the same score as the last movie. I think it's good. It's I think you're kind of convincing me on that. Like it's not as good as like the concepts are there and the ideas are there. It's just maybe it was just a little bit too ahead of its time for its own good. Like I really feel like
I
this
don't think
movie.
that's it.
See, I think this movie really did like. I don't remember a movie that's ever done this like before this movie. Like
That
I think this
idea?
was the first. Yeah, this is the first.
The
that
idea, I mean, the idea is one thing, I guess, but
like I think it's pretty cool that like this was like its first that I can recall, and like it like is pretty good. Like it's but yeah. So I yeah, but I do think like some of it, like I agree with you. Like some of the dialogue.
I think it's also just
is a little grating.
I think that it feels very much like a product of its time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That is true. I agree with that. Yeah. But I still really enjoyed watching it. I was pleasantly surprised that I was worried it wasn't going to age well. I'm glad it aged pretty well. And I enjoyed it. Maybe enjoyed it a little less than I did when I was a kid, but I still really enjoyed it. And yeah, 7.5 and a 7. Heard it here first. Osmosis Jones. It's a pretty good one. I'm surprised it's not on any streaming services. Kind of bummed about that. I feel like if it was on Netflix, it would get a pretty big resurgence on there. It has a cult following now. It's definitely one of those movies. I mean, it I definitely don't think it deserved some of the ratings I saw when it first came out. I'm surprised it did poorly when it first came out because I think it's quite better than some of the stuff I saw, but I don't know. Anyhow, doesn't matter either way. You heard it here first. The official movie people giving it their stamps of approval. But yeah, thanks. That's the show this week, everyone. Thanks for joining us as always. Yeah, you can follow us on our socials on Instagram at film_juice, on Twitter at filmjuicepod, and you can check us out on YouTube if you're not watching and listening. YouTube.com. The channel name is Filmjuice, or Filmjuice Podcast. Actually, I think it might just be Filmjuice. One of those. Look it up, you'll find it. We do come up on the search bar, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, and then if you're watching us on YouTube and you want to listen to us on the go, Spotify, Google Play, I think we're on, Apple Music, Podbean.
Apple Podcasts,
sorry. Yep. We qualify as music now. But yeah, so definitely check that stuff out. And yeah, we're going to be doing another watch party soon. That more information will be announced on that soon. So be on the social medias to see more stuff on that. And yeah, that'll be exciting and fun. So yeah, I think that's all there is to it for this episode. Thanks for joining us again. My name's Joe Dorado.
And I'm Andrew Canada, and we'll see you next time at the movies.